Okay, so welcome to the Python security programming class. First, I am going to take you through the environments that you need to have and then get yourself prepared for most of the things that we'll be doing practically in this class. So I'm going to show you the process. First, you need to go to Google, pretty simple. You search for Python, download. Then you go to Python website. You come to the Python website. Please download the latest Python version, and you're doing that for your operating system. Okay, so if you are using Windows, then you want to get the Windows version. All right, so once you tap on the download, then you get the Python file downloaded. Okay, so because I have it, I'm going to pause the process. So when you get that, you just double click that to install. Okay, so installation is pretty easy. You just double click and then you do your next, and then you get it installed, right? Okay, you just type py and you can write Python codes right here. Okay, because this sets the environment up and it allows you to write interactive lines. Now, if you do not have Python installed, when you do this, you're not supposed to get a result. Okay, you get an error. Okay, so that kind of thing. All right, so now you can simply do Python lines like what we did there. You can write it there, but here is interactive, so if you make any mistake, you're not able to go to the next line. Okay, so let's just do simple thing I always do every time. Just 2 plus 2, right? And that's 4. It's pretty simple, right? Okay, you can choose to initialize and do all of that stuff, but if you work in Python, it's pretty comfortable or convenient because now you don't have to declare an integer to hold this 2 value. You just type it straight away. Python is fine with that. It knows that 2 is an integer. Okay, so Python is a bit flexible and convenient to use. After installing the Python file, you want to get the environment. Obviously, it's not so nice if you are just using Python in the CMD pane, right? So you want something that is a bit attractive. So the first option is you can take PyCharm. So you do PyCharm download. You may not have cash to pay for the professional one, so you can go for the free one, which is the community edition. Works fine. Okay, so you try to download what matches with your operating system. Here is showing already for Windows. So you tap on the download, yes, and then it will start downloading right here. Okay, but I have PyCharm already installed, so I'm pausing the process. But once you get the executable file, it's the same process of installing a software. So that's it. And when you're done, you can launch it anytime. You just do PyCharm, so like this, you can see, and then you open it up. Okay, so this is how it looks like. All right, so these are old .py files I've got, so that's why they are showing, but if you open it, you are not going to see, obviously, these files up here. Okay, so just like this is how the PyCharm environment looks like. Another option is to use Jupyter Notebook. So if you don't like PyCharm, you can take Jupyter Notebook. There are several other options, but to get Jupyter Notebook, first you can go for what we call the Anaconda Navigator. Now in Anaconda Navigator, Jupyter Notebook is already in there, so you don't have to install it separately. So you just install Anaconda. Okay, so type in Google and then go to Anaconda. You do Anaconda download, and then you go to the Anaconda distribution site. Okay. So they are telling you they are using cookies and all that, but I don't like cookies. Do I like them? Because they have a lot of sweet in there. So yeah, you can download Anaconda right here. You hit on the download, you should get it downloaded, and then again it follows the same process of installing the software. And when you install this, you can just come back later and type Anaconda Navigator. Okay, and once you launch it up, now you're going to see all of the packages that are in Anaconda Navigator. Now a lot of people use Anaconda especially for data science people, right? Yeah, they're able to set different environments in Anaconda, and it enables them to get their modules in pretty quickly. All right, so it's a very powerful tool that is used by a lot of people. So if you see things like import pandas as PD and all that, it's just data science. Yes, but we can also use the same environment for our stuff in the classroom. Okay, takes Python fine. So I'm going to stop this process because I have the file already, so I just pause it. So once the Anaconda Navigator shows up, you are going to see several tools that are in the Anaconda Navigator. So you have Jupyter Notebook here. We are interested in Jupyter Notebook, so we're going to launch that. Yeah, and this is how the environment looks like. You can create a new file. Created, you can rename, just say addition, and then you would want to do a very simple example. You can just do A equal to 3 and B equal to 4, and then you just want to add them up and put them in Y. So you have A plus B, and then you just print your output. Okay. Now that's a very simple addition. So that's about the Jupyter Notebook. So all the while we've been talking about lists. Okay, so we want to use one of the methods in Python to look at how we can add on a value to a particular list. Okay, and that method is called the append method. Okay, so if we look at the example that we saw in the PPT, let's just say we have a list that is with the variable A, and we say A is equal to the list 1, 2, 3. Now notice that for each element in the list we have separated with a comma, right? Okay. Now the next line, we want to actually say that B should be equal to A, but why is it so? Because we want to append an element to A and then later print what is in B. Okay, just that. So what do we do now? Here, if we want to append an element 4 to the list, what do? We say A dot what? Append, and then the append method requires us to write whatever value we want to add on, right? So we say a dot append 4. Okay, so what does this mean? Yeah, it means we want to add an element 4 to the list, right? Okay. And so who can tell me now what the value of B is? B turns out to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that not so? So now, if we print B, what should we see? So now we see 1, 2, 3, 4 here, right? Okay, so that is how to use the dot append method. Now, there are a lot of methods. You can talk about the pop, okay? That is to take an element out of it. I demonstrated that here. If you do a dot pop into bracket -1, it means that you are taking just one element out of the list, right? So you can play around with list. You can, because it's mutable, you can play around with the content of the list here and there. Okay, and that's fine. So we just add on to this one 4, 5. Okay, now what are we doing? We said we want to do, if we are printing this, let's say B is equal to A1, okay, it's pretty easy to print B. Now we said the next thing that they did was to create sum list, and then sum list is an empty list, right? And then we say sum list dot append, then we append a string like Ma said. Okay, and then what else? So we are trying to just append string and an integer together all in one list, right? Okay, so the value, let's say, so we are saying Masa is 55 years old. Okay, so we can print sum list, and then we can also even print the length. Okay, okay, so right, so we can see sum list, and we can see the length of sum list, and we want to also see B. Maybe let's change B to position 3. Right? So yeah, so we run this and we see this. Sum list is having Ma and 55, and then at position 3 we have 4. Is that not so? And then what else? The length is, which is 2. Okay, so just like that, just playing around with, this is just playing around with list. Simple program right now: create an empty dictionary and populate it with a key and a value. Empty dictionary, and then we are populating it with a key and a value, right? So we can say sum dictionary is equal to, is empty. Now in this dictionary I want to put a key and a value, so I'll say sum dictionary, then I'll put the key here. If I want the key as a string, I'll use a string. If I want the key as a value, which is 1, I can just type 1. Okay, I'll just type it as key. Okay, now the value should be equal to what I'm putting in here. Okay, so key, then I'm saying the value is Ma. Okay, so like that. So it means that right now key for this dictionary is what? Is key, right? And the value is ma. So let me see what happens with this. Okay, so you see your dictionary now. Okay, so your dictionary is no more empty. Your dictionary has got values now. Here is it. You see that? So now you have key is a key and then the value is ma, right? Okay. So but if you want to print only the key, then you use the method for printing only the key. Okay, so you say print sumdate dot key. Okay, so this one gives me only the keys. Okay, is that okay, guys? You get that?
It's not only the value.
Yeah, you can do that dot value. Or you don't believe? Try it and see. We're going back to the slides. So all of these are the methods you can use, dot keys, dot values, dot items, and so on. Okay, so you can try them.